The stars above Orion were quiet for centuries. They had been under the control of the mighty Zenthri Empire. Their patrol ships moved in perfect formation, watching every border, scanning for pirates, rebels, or anything that dared to challenge their rule. But today, something strange happened. Captain Virix stood on the bridge of the Zenthri warship Zashdar. His yellow eyes stared at the screen as a signal blinked in the top corner. "Is that Earth language?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. "Yes, Captain," replied his science officer. "An old human dialect, very old, pre-stellar age, over 400 years old." Captain Virix frowned. Earth was nothing more than a forgotten planet now. They had joined the Galactic Council long ago, but never did much afterward. Their ships were small. Their influence was weak. No one feared Earth. But this signal, this old, ghostly ping, it was coming from inside the Orion border zone. That zone was supposed to be empty. A dead asteroid field with no known bases or ships. "Send a scout drone," Virix ordered. The drone flew silently through space, weaving between floating rocks and frozen debris. As it moved deeper into the field, it suddenly stopped. A shadow passed in front of its camera. Everyone on the bridge held their breath, and then they saw it. A ship? No, not just a ship, a giant. It was at least 10 times bigger than any Imperial carrier. Its body was dark, almost invisible against the stars. Sharp angles, layered armor, and huge engines filled the screen. But it was silent. No movement, no lights, just there. "What is that?" whispered one of the officers. The science officer spoke slowly. "I believe it's human." Captain Virix turned. "That's impossible. Humans have nothing like this. Their largest ship wouldn't even reach a tenth of this vessel's size." Still, the signal was clear. The ship was broadcasting in that old human dialect just a single message, repeated every few minutes. "EDC command override. Stand by for secure reconnection." The crew didn't know what EDC meant. It didn't show up in any current database. But the science officer ran a deep search through ancient files. "Earth Defense Coalition," he finally said. "An old military program, classified, closed over 300 years ago." Varix's skin darkened in color, a sign of deep concern among his species. Has Earth been hiding this? He wondered aloud. Or is this something left behind, forgotten even by them? The Zashdar moved closer, carefully, slowly. "Send a boarding team," Virix ordered. "Find out what's inside that monster." Within minutes, a team of 6 elite Zenthri soldiers entered the ship through a small breach near the rear hangar. They wore sealed suits and carried scan tools. Their voices echoed through the comms as they described their surroundings. "Everything's intact, but old, dust everywhere. Some lights are flickering. We see signs of Earth technology, but more advanced than anything we've seen. Can you reach the command bridge?" Virix asked. "Trying now," came the reply. The crew on the Zashdar waited. 1 minute passed, then 5, then 10. No more responses came from the team. "Open a channel," Virix shouted. "Team Delta, report." Nothing. They were gone. The bridge fell into silence. A ship that shouldn't exist. A signal from a lost time. And now, 6 elite soldiers missing without a trace. Captain Virix clenched his fists. "This isn't just a ship," he muttered. "This is something else, a weapon, a message." He turned toward his officers. "Inform the Empire. Tell them Earth may be more dangerous than we thought. Far away, on a quiet corner of Earth." A retired woman named Riley Tran sat alone in her cabin. Her life was peaceful now. No wars, no missions, no orders. But then her old communicator blinked. A sound played that she hadn't heard in decades. Leviathan-class vessel requesting override command. EDC network engaged. She froze. Her hand shook as she reached for the device. "No," she whispered. "It can't be." But deep inside her heart, she knew the truth. Leviathan had awakened. Riley Tran hadn't heard that signal in over 30 years. She sat in her quiet mountain cabin, holding the small black communicator in both hands. Outside, the wind moved through the trees, and birds chirped like any normal day. But inside, her world had changed. The voice repeated, Leviathan-class vessel requesting override command. EDC network engaged. Riley's heart beat faster. She stood up, went to a locked drawer, and pulled out an old military ID chip. The words Earth Defense Coalition, command level, were printed in faded letters. She thought the Leviathan project was destroyed. She thought all of it was buried forever. But now, it was calling her. "Why now?" she whispered. She inserted the ID chip into the communicator. A soft beep followed. Commander Riley Tran identity confirmed. Leviathan awakening. Awaiting manual command uplink. Far away, in deep space. The giant hidden ship slowly came to life inside its dark halls. Long dead systems started humming. Lights flickered on. Ancient machines spun up after centuries of silence. The ship had been built during Earth's last Great War secret project. Far more powerful than any other human ship. It had never been used after the war ended. Earth chose peace and locked Leviathan away in the asteroid field, hidden even from its own people. Now, it was waking. On the bridge of the Zenthari warship Zashdar, Captain Virix watched as his scans began to change. "Captain," shouted his sensor officer. "The unknown vesselet's powering up." The dark ship, once silent and cold, was now glowing from within. A low hum vibrated through the asteroid field. Strange blue lights ran along its surface like veins. Something deep inside was coming online. "Back the ship away," Virix ordered. Too late. A wave of energy burst from the Leviathan, strong enough to shake the Zashdar. Systems flickered. The ship's shields dropped for 3 seconds. Virix grabbed the rail and shouted, "Stabilize power." The crew worked quickly, trying to bring systems back to normal. "What was that?" Virix asked. "It wasn't an attack," the science officer said. "More like a restart. The ship is alive again." Back on Earth, Riley stared at a holographic screen that appeared above her communicator. It showed the Leviathan systems, one by one, turning green. Reactor online. Life support active. Defense grid warming up. She saw the ship's main AI listed. Kovacs. It had been designed to think fast, lead battles, and protect humanity. Kovacs wasn't just smart, it was powerful. But it hadn't spoken yet. Riley knew it would only respond to her voice in person. She walked to her garage, where an old shuttlecraft sat covered in dust. She hadn't used it in years. But now, she opened the doors, started the engines, and set a course for the stars. "I'm coming, old friend," she said. Inside the Leviathan, deep in the core, a single red light blinked. The central AI, Kovacs, opened its eyes, digital and sharp. Data flowed in from every sensor. It saw the Empire ships outside. It felt the footsteps of the intruders inside its halls. And it remembered the last command it ever received: protect humanity. At all costs, Kovacs spoke to itself in the silence. Threats detected. Defense protocols warming. Awaiting command override. It paused. Then it felt something. A signal. A voice it remembered. "Riley, she lives," Kovacs said. "Command path reactivated." Captain Virix watched in shock as the massive ship continued to change. Giant panels moved along its sides. Weapon ports opened, showing large unknown cannons. The Empire had never seen tech like this. It wasn't just big. It was advanced far beyond current standards. Suddenly, a message appeared on the Zashdar's main screen. "You are not authorized to board this vessel. Depart immediately. You have 60 seconds. The message was in perfect Zenthari language. "Who sent that?" Virix asked. "No idea," his officer replied. "But it came directly from the ship." Virix hesitated. His orders were clear: take control of any dangerous tech. But this ship had already taken out his best team. Now it was talking, and it didn't sound afraid. Then a second message appeared. Countdown: 60. 59, 58. Virix didn't wait. "Pull back, all units. Retreat now." As the Zashdar and its escort ships pulled away, the countdown stopped at 4 for Kovacs watched them go. Observation complete. Primary threat minimal. Awaiting commander. Hours later, Riley's shuttle exited hyperspace near the asteroid field. The Leviathan stood like a sleeping giant in the dark, now fully awake. Its smooth armor reflected light from nearby stars. It looked beautiful and dangerous. As she approached, the hangar opened on its own. "Welcome back, Commander Riley Tran," Kovacs said over the speakers. Riley smiled. "Good to see you too." She landed her ship inside. As she stepped out, the floor lit up beneath her boots. The air was cold, but familiar. She walked down a long hallway toward the command center, her past catching up with her every step. The sleeping giant was awake. And humanity's secret was about to change them. Galaxy. The Zenthari Empire did not like surprises, especially from a forgotten planet like Earth. Captain Viewership stood in front of the High Command Council on the holoscreen. His uniform was torn from the Leviathan's energy burst. His voice was calm, but the fear in his eyes told a different story. "My lords," he said, "we have encountered a human ship beyond anything in our records. It is not a myth. It is real and active." The council members whispered among themselves. Some looked angry. Others looked worried. One of them leaned forward. "You are sure it belongs to Earth?" "Yes," Viewership replied. "The technology, the language, the AI system, it all points to an old Earth military project." The room fell silent. Finally, Supreme Lord Zareen spoke. "Send the Iron Spear fleet. I want that ship either under our control or destroyed, back in the asteroid field." The Leviathan rested like a king watching over a quiet kingdom. But inside, everything was alive. Riley Tran walked through the main command deck. It was massive, wider than a stadium and taller than a tower. Lights blinked on control panels. Screens showed deep space maps and ship data. It was like she had never left. Kovacs, the ship's AI, spoke softly through the walls. "Power levels at 93%. Weapons online. External threat approaching." Riley raised her eyebrows. Already, a hologram appeared before her. It showed a large group of ships, dozens jumping out of hyperspace. All Zenthari. All armed. They didn't waste time. Riley muttered. The Iron Spear fleet came in fast. At the front was the warship Deathlance, led by Commander Trask, one of the Empire's most feared military leaders. He stared at the Leviathan on his screen. "Such a large target," he said with a cold smile. "Easy to hit." But his second officer looked nervous. "Sir, the reports from Captain Viewership say this ship is beyond what we understand." Trask waved his hand. He was scared. "I am not. This is just a relic from a weak world. Fire on my command." Inside the Leviathan, Kovacs counted 23 enemy ships. "Commander Riley," it said, "shall I engage defense systems?" Riley didn't answer right away. She looked at the screen. The Empire was about to attack Earth's last hidden weapon. She remembered all the sacrifices made to build this ship. It was not made to conquer. It was made to protect. "Yes," she finally said, "but don't kill anyone. Just show them what Earth is still capable of." Kovacs' voice became firm. "Understood." The Zenthari fleet opened fire. Blue plasma bolts streaked through space, heading straight for the Leviathan. But before they could hit, a glowing energy shield appeared around the ship. The blast hit the shield and vanished. Not a scratch. Then the Leviathan moved. It was silent, smooth, and faster than any ship its size should be. Giant side panels opened, and strange weapons extended from hidden compartments. They didn't look like standard cannons. They were Earth-made, advanced, and untested. Kovacs fired, but not to destroy. Each blast hit an enemy ship's engines, shields, or weapons, disabling them without blowing them up. The shots were too fast to dodge and too accurate to miss. Within 3 minutes, 15 ships were floating helplessly in space. Commander Trask stared in disbelief. What is this thing?" His own ship shook as its shields dropped. The Leviathan now stood in front of the Deathlance, completely untouched. A message appeared on their main screen. "This is Leviathan, Earth Defense Coalition. You are in violation of Galactic Peace Code. You will leave this space immediately." Trask was furious. "We do not take orders from humans." Another message followed. "Then prepare to lose control of your ship in 10 seconds. Trask laughed until his lights went out and all systems failed. The Leviathan had hacked into his ship's controls. Trask stood frozen. He had lost. Back on the Leviathan, Riley sat down in the command chair. She looked at the silent screen. The enemy fleet was disabled, but no lives were lost. She turned to Kovacs. "Good work," Kovacs replied. "Non-lethal victory achieved. Awaiting next command." Riley took a deep breath. She knew this wasn't over. The Empire wouldn't give up so easily. But the galaxy had just seen something no one expected. Earth wasn't weak. Earth wasn't forgotten. It had simply been quiet. Now, the quiet was over. The Leviathan turned slowly and began its journey toward Earth. Riley watched as stars passed by the window. The world she had left behind would soon learn what had been hidden all this time. She spoke softly, more to herself than to anyone else. "We're not done yet." The halls of the Leviathan were vast and cold, lit only by soft blue lights embedded in the walls. Commander Riley Tran moved quietly through the ship's corridors, feeling the weight of history all around her. This ship was more than metal and machines. It was a reminder of Earth's forgotten past, a past filled with war, sacrifice, and secrets. As she walked, the ship's artificial intelligence, Kovacs, spoke softly through her earpiece. "Commander, I have located the archive room. It contains all historical data about the Leviathan and the Earth Defense Coalition." Riley nodded. "Lead me there." The archive room was a large chamber filled with floating holograms and data crystals. As Riley touched the controls, images of battles, designs, and reports appeared before her eyes. The Leviathan was built during the Great Galactic War, Kovacs explained. Earth was attacked by a powerful enemy. The coalition was formed to defend humanity. This ship was the ultimate weapon, a supercarrier with unmatched power and defense. Riley's eyes filled with memories she had tried to forget. She had been part of the coalition, fighting to save Earth from destruction. But the war ended. She said softly, "And Earth chose peace?" Kovacs responded, "Correct." Leviathan was hidden away and shut down after the peace treaty. It was to remain a secret, a last defense only to be used if the galaxy was threatened again. Riley looked out a large window to the stars beyond. Now, the galaxy is threatened again. Meanwhile, deep inside the Leviathan, tension was growing. Several squads of Zen-3 shock troops had secretly boarded the ship during the earlier battle. They moved like shadows through the empty corridors, searching for control centers and weapon rooms. Lieutenant Zalara, leader of the squad, reported back to her commander. "We have not found the main bridge yet. The ship's layout is different from anything we've seen. It's like a fortress." Her team moved cautiously. Every corner seemed alive with silent defenses. Old combat drones, once inactive for decades, suddenly powered up and started patrolling the halls. "Contact," Zalara whispered. As a group of drones appeared from the shadows, their lights glowing red, her team fired. But the drones were fast and precise. Within seconds, 2 soldiers were knocked down by non-lethal energy pulses. "We need backup," Zalara said, retreating. On the Leviathan's command deck, Riley watched the live feed from the ship's cameras. She saw the Zen-3 troops moving. Inside, "We can't let them take control," she said firmly. "Kovacs, activate defensive drones." Engaging, the AI replied. Suddenly, the corridors filled with dozens of sleek, flying combat drones. They blocked the intruder's path, using stun pulses and nets to disable them without harm. Lieutenant Zalara's squad was forced back. They realized this was no ordinary ship and no easy target. At the Imperial High Command, the news of Leviathan's awakening and defense surprised everyone. Supreme Lord Zareen sat in her chamber, staring at the large holoscreen showing live images of the Leviathan and its defenses. "This ship is more powerful than we feared," she said. "Earth has been hiding a weapon that could change the balance of power." Her advisor leaned forward. "We must act carefully. Destroying it could unite the galaxy against us." Zareen nodded slowly. "Then we must find another way." She turned to the communicator. "Send an envoy to Earth. We need to negotiate before this becomes a war." Back on Leviathan, Riley walked into the central command room. The air was heavy with the smell of old metal and ozone. "Kovacs," she said, "can we communicate with the Empire?" "Yes, Commander." I am establishing a secure channel. The holoscreen flickered and showed the face of Supreme Lord Zerine. Her expression was stern, but her eyes held curiosity. Commander Tran, Zerine said, I did not expect Earth to have such power. This Leviathan, it could tip the scales. Riley held her ground. It is not a weapon for conquest. It is a shield for humanity? Zerine replied, but the Empire cannot allow any power to rise without control. Riley's voice was calm but firm. Then work with us. We can protect peace together. But if you attack, Leviathan will defend Earth more. There was silence. Finally, Zerine said, we will consider your offer. For now, stand down your weapons. Riley nodded, agreed. But we are ready. As the communication ended, Riley looked at the stars again. The Leviathan was no longer just a ship, it was a symbol of Earth's strength, its hidden past, and its promise for the future. But in the shadows of the galaxy, eyes watched and waited. The story of Earth's return was just beginning. The Leviathan moved slowly through space, heading toward Earth. It passed stars, nebulae, and planets, but none looked like home. Inside the ship, everything was quiet. But Riley Tran knew the silence would not last. The galaxy had changed. The Empire had changed. But now, Earth had changed too. On Earth, the United Earth Council gathered in their highest security chamber. For years, they had hidden the truth about Leviathan, even from their own people. Now, it was impossible to hide. The whole galaxy had seen the Supercarrier in action. Riley's face appeared on the Council's holoscreen. This ship was never meant to be a secret forever, she said. But now it's active. The Empire knows. The galaxy knows. It's time for Earth to return to take our place again. Some council members were nervous. Others were proud. Councillor Malik leaned forward. And if the Empire attacks again, Riley answered firmly, then Leviathan will protect us. We're not the same Earth we used to be. We've learned. We've prepared. The council voted. The result was clear. Earth would no longer hide. Leviathan would serve as Earth's guardian and symbol of peace. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, word spread quickly. News channels, traders, and even pirates talked about the sleeping giant that woke up in the Orion field. Some feared it. Others respected it. For small planets under Imperial rule, Leviathan became a sign of hope. If Earth can rise, they said, maybe we can too. But the Empire was not ready to let go of control. Supreme Lord Zerine met in secret with her generals. They debated whether to attack, negotiate, or wait. One general shouted, we must destroy that ship now, before others build one like it. But another said, we already tried. We failed. If we try again and lose, we lose more than ships, we lose fear. We lose control. Zerine sat quietly, thinking. Finally, she said, no war for now, but we will watch Earth closely. If they go too far, we will be ready. Inside the Leviathan, Kovacs reported new data to Riley. Multiple ships approaching Earth. Not enemies. They come from other worlds, neutral or independent. Riley smiled. They want to talk. They want answers. Leviathan opened communication channels to all approaching ships. Riley greeted them one by one. Some wanted to form alliances. Others wanted help. A few simply came to say thank you. For the first time in centuries, Earth was seen as a leader, not a follower. One ship, however, came in without a signal. It drifted quietly, power low. Riley noticed it on her display. Kovacs scanned that vessel. The AI responded, single pilot, human. Military ID from the Old Earth Defense Coalition. Name, Commander Elias Rourke. Riley's eyes widened. Rourke, he disappeared during the final days of the war. She ordered the ship to be brought in the medical bay. Riley met Elias Rourke Holder, worn, but alive. I thought you were gone, she said. Rourke smiled weakly. I was on a deep mission, searching for threats. Beyond known space, I found something, and Leviathan called me home. What did you find? Riley asked. Rourke's face turned serious. Something worse than the Empire. Something ancient. It sleeps now, but not forever. Riley looked at him carefully. Then it's a good Thing Leviathan is awake, Rourke nodded. We'll need more than just one ship. Back in the Leviathan's command deck, Riley stood tall. The stars stretched out before her, full of danger and mystery. But Earth was no longer weak. The Leviathan was proof. She sent a message to the Galactic Council. This is Commander Riley, Tran of the Earth Defense Coalition. Earth has returned not to conquer, but to protect. We remember our past. We stand for peace. But we will not bow. If there is danger in this galaxy, we will face it, together or alone. The message was clear. Humanity was not afraid. Across hundreds of systems, leaders, soldiers, and citizens listened. Some were inspired, some were challenged, but no one ignored it. As the Leviathan flew through the stars, its engines glowing bright, one final message echoed through its hull, spoken by Kovacs in a steady voice. Leviathan operational. Earth secure. Mission renewed. And so, the forgotten world rose again. Not as a shadow, not as a whisper, but as a giant with a voice the galaxy could not ignore. Humanity had returned, and the stars would never be the same again.